Hey everyone, Eric Thompson here. Hope that you are doing well indeed. It's pretty late. It's 1:23 in the morning and I'm just kind of hanging out and I was reflecting on my day as I did the dishes just a moment ago. And I thought, maybe I'll record something that's a bit different from my normal fare, okay? So this video isn't about music or movies or anything like that. As the title suggests, it's about pastors. And as some of you know, I've worked in churches for the past 8 years or so as a volunteer or as a part-time or full-time employee. And mostly I've worked in music ministry, a choir director, worship leader, conductor, composer, whatever it is. And I've also worked as a youth minister too from time to time. And something that I'm most impressed with, and again kind of was reflecting on, was the power, presence, and leadership of pastors. I've been fortunate enough to work with both male and female pastors in multiple settings, both in Protestant and Catholic churches. And it never fails me to be impressed with these people who give their whole lives to the church and to the people of the church, both the people they come to know over years of service and complete strangers. I just thought of a couple stories maybe I'd share that give credence to why we should love our pastors as much as possible. I was serving in a church for my internship as part of my college degree, and a couple things struck me during that summer that I served in this parish. One day, I was outside, just kind of hanging around. Maybe I was playing my guitar or ukulele or something, and someone came to the door. And they kind of walked past me and went to the door of the rectory where the two priests and myself lived during the time. And he knocked on the door. He didn't see me at first. And I kind of got up from my chair to help him. And he said, is there a priest here? And I said, I don't know. I'm going to let me go inside and check. And so I went inside and I couldn't find anyone. But then finally I found our pastor. And he was just leaving to go to a meeting. He didn't have time to talk with this guy. And he said, hey, look, can you talk to him? And I said, well, sure. I thought maybe he just has a question when the masses are or when there's confession or whatever. And so I said, sure. And so Father left, and I went out front to talk to this guy. And we sat down in this little courtyard out front of the rectory. And I couldn't believe what this man told me. He was a total stranger. He didn't belong to the church. I don't think he even was a citizen in that state. He was just passing through, I guess. I don't remember it very well. It was quite a while ago. But this man went on to tell me that he was an alcoholic, not recovering, actively drinking. I mean, he smelled of it, like his sweat smelled of alcohol. And not even 10 minutes before, he had just tried to kill himself. He tried to throw himself off of a bridge that was about a quarter mile from where the church was. And so I'm sitting there listening to this guy just open up his life and pour it out in front of me. And I'm like, what do I say? What do I do to comfort this man? And eventually, he really expressed his brokenness, and he was crying, and I'm like, Now, I don't remember what I said at the time. I think I wrote a journal entry about it. I'll have to go back and find it to see what I did say. But I tried to counsel him as best as I can. I tried to turn his mind and his heart toward the good things in his life, and things that he could be thankful for and grateful for, reasons to keep living. We prayed together, and then he went off on his own way. And that was one thing that happened. That happens to priests and pastors every day. I know from working in churches and spending a lot of time in the church office that people walk in every single day with needs that you can't anticipate. People who were just kicked out of their house. I know guys have come into the office and sat down, especially when times were tough economically, certainly now, and it wasn't uncommon for guys or women to say, I lost $1 million yesterday, all my pension, all my savings, because the market just took it away and it's gone, and now I can't pay my mortgage or whatever. I mean, this is not uncommon to hear for a person to say to a pastor. They just have to say it to someone they can trust and who can hopefully help them. That same summer, it was late, and the rectory that I mentioned before didn't have air conditioning. They got it right at the end of the summer I was there. And so often it'd be 90 degrees in the house at midnight. And so I couldn't sleep. It's the same here in Kentucky. I just can't sleep when it's that warm. And so I was sitting outside, and I was having a cigarette, and just trying to cool off. And the door opens to the rectory, and out comes Father, and he has his stole around his neck. And I look at him and I say, "Father, where are you going?" And he looked at me and he simply said, as he walked by, he said, "Someone's died at the hospital, and I have to go be there for them." 3 o'clock in the morning, he gets the call. He's out of bed. He's out the door. He's in the car. He's at the hospital to be with his family as they're losing a family member. Just like that. And these are things that happen all the time for our pastors. Tonight, the pastor I work with here, he was unavailable. Well, actually, he wasn't unavailable. He couldn't get back to church in time to conduct a wedding rehearsal. And so I had to do it. And wow. I mean, it was a great rehearsal, and everyone's feeling confident tomorrow's going to be a great day for this beautiful young couple. But I was trying. My patience was tested because I'm trying to give them directions, and they're asking questions, and I don't really quite know the answer to them, but I'm trying to do the best I can to instruct them to get them ready for their big day. And again, this is something that priests and pastors deal with all the time, not just in weddings, but in funerals. And I've done a lot of funeral preparation with families too. And that's a delicate art when they're in that place of deep mourning and sorrow, and you're trying to ask them about music and readings and how do you want to handle this and that as part of the ceremony. They don't want to talk about that, but you have to lead them through these broken moments, okay? I've seen pastors do it, and they do it masterfully. They give their whole lives over to God to help people who are in these moments. And they also give their lives over to God to be with people in moments of joy, at baptisms, first communions, first confessions, confirmation, when children are born, at special events, graduations of all kinds. It's beautiful. Pastors that have come to Boy Scout events. I remember my pastor came to a Boy Scout event of mine one time. Who was that? When was that? I can't remember. But it was awesome to see him there, that he supported me in that way. Even though we didn't spend all that much time together, but he wanted to say, hey, this is important to me because it's important to you. I want to celebrate with you in this. If you know a pastor, if you have a pastor, show them your appreciation. At our church, there's an older fellow who takes communion to people who are in nursing homes. And so at a certain point in the Mass, he comes up to receive the pyx from Father, which has the blessed host in it, the communion in it, the bread. And every time he holds Father's hand and he says, I love you, Father. Every time. And Father says back, I love you too. And it seems like a trivial and passing moment, but it's a special, beautiful moment when that parishioner not only acknowledges that the pastor's giving him a special responsibility, but is affirming that with love and with charity and with kindness. Some of you know I wrote sort of a paraliturgical musical, I'm not sure what we should call that, called Stabat Mater. And the first time we premiered it at, well, of course, the first time it was premiere, at the Church of Holy Apostles, after the performance was finished, my pastor came up to me, my boss, you know, the guy I worked for in the church, and he came up to me and he was just weeping, you know, just in just such an emotional state. And he grabbed onto me and he held me, and I grabbed onto him and I hugged him, and it overwhelmed me. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. And all I could say to him was, I love you, Father. Like, I didn't know what else to say. Like, did you like the music? how about this or that? Like, I couldn't even say anything but to acknowledge the deep bond we had together. Not only as co-workers, because we worked at the same church, but as Christians, as brothers, okay? Please encourage your pastor, however you do it. Again, part of working in the church setting is seeing all the special things that people do for their pastors. Just about a week ago, I came into work and there was this unbelievable basket of fresh vegetables sitting out there on the table in the parish office. And I said, what is going on here? It was a huge basket. Everything was super fresh, peppers and potatoes and celery and carrots and lettuce and whatever was in there. And it looked so pristine and fresh, like it had been pulled out of the ground or picked it that morning. And someone said, yeah, a local farmer dropped it off for father because he knew he needed vegetables. Simple things like that. I know there's a can of, a little Tupperware thing of chicken vegetable soup right there in the refrigerator now for father to enjoy whenever he needs it. Because sometimes our priests and our pastors are running around and they're so busy, they don't have time to just sit and eat. It's on the go. If you can provide for your pastor in that way, do it. They appreciate it. They really do. It's a way of affirming them, of supporting them, of showing your love to them. Show your pastors how much you care for them. Send them Christmas cards and Easter cards and Valentine's Day cards. Make your pastor your sweetheart for Valentine, okay? For Valentine's Day. Affirm them with love. Support them with your love and acts of charity. And again, based on my experience, I can tell you, it means the world to them. It means the world to me when someone sends me an email or a text or writes on my Facebook timeline or wall or whatever it's called, how much they appreciate my music or my ministry. And it's such an affirmation. And I need that to keep going because it's a lonely life being a church worker. And you would think you're around people all the time, but that takes a lot out of a person. And so we need that one-on-one connection, even if it's a text message or a phone call or an email or a note that's left on your car windshield or something, We need that support to keep going, and our pastors do especially. This video is a little different, but I just wanted to share it with you and encourage you to please support your pastors with love. They need your support. They need your prayers. And maybe if you can't make a chicken vegetable soup, if you don't have a garden to give them fresh vegetables and herbs from, you could support them with prayer. And perhaps really that's the most powerful weapon, vehicle of support of all, is to pray for them and to pray that God will support their ministries by the Holy Spirit and by God's amazing grace. So there you go, just something different. But again, if you have a pastor, please support them. Please show them your love. They give more than we can ever know or imagine. God alone knows all the sacrifices they make for us and for our families by serving us and serving the church with their whole lives. That's, I think that's worthy of a reward on our part. Okay? Hope you're all doing well. Videos coming up, okay? Top 10's coming up. I'm excited to get some new material out there. Got a couple more subscribers. That's fun. Hey, if you like the channel, why not click like on the video? Maybe subscribe if you have a YouTube account. Share the video on your Facebook. Someone did that just recently. Hannah's mom shared that video of her performing. I appreciate that, Natalie. Thank you. All right, everyone. Take care. Oh, and if I tag you in this video, I'm going to tag quite a few folks that have kind of asked about my life as a church minister. If I tag you, don't take any offense. I just wanted you to see that I'm going to give some commentary to this topic. All right. Take care. Bye.